I'm going to talk today about two shows that are completely different one from the other. The first is Moulin Rouge, the musical, um, big show, and the second is Cactus, a show that's was at La Mama and is now in its digital season at La Mama. I'll talk about after Moulin Rouge. So Moulin Rouge, the musical, one must use the musical so as not to confuse it with the film by Baz Luhrmann upon which it's based. It's a what I'd call a jukebox musical with a difference, which I'll explain shortly. And it is really a vivid, vivacious, and exhilarating night in the theatre. And on the opening night of this return season in Melbourne, which is bringing it full circle back to where it opened, the crowd clapped like seals and they leapt simultaneously to their feet at this spectacular finale, or the spectacular finale of the show. John Logan's book for the musical is based on the film, which was made in 2001. The musical, like the film, is set in the iconic Moulin Rouge nightclub in 19th century Paris, and it follows the poignant love story of Christian, played by Des Flanagan. He's an aspiring young American songwriter seeking inspiration and success in Paris, and his love interest Satine, played by Alinta Chidzi, who's a stalwart of musical theatre in Australia. She's an exotic and beautiful and much desired courtesan and nightclub performer who, of course, is dying from consumption. So it's got echoes of, it's very romantic and operatic with echoes of La Boheme and Camille and Traviata, etc. It's an electrifying opening to this show. Sassy, raunchy, vivacious, and eclectic choreography by Sonia Taye. It includes a can-can, of course, and all sorts of other styles of dance. And it's all set to the disco hit Lady Marmalade that is sung by the entire chorus, the entire ensemble, multi-talented, all singers, dancers, actors. What I find really interesting in this show is Justin Levine's music, which is an inspired collision of eclectic musical styles and snatches of lyrics and some entire pop songs or larger sections of pop songs that create not only a guess that tune sort of game for the audience, but also a totally innovative approach to telling a story, a love story through music. And the most cunningly inventive song that he's created is a duet between Satine and Christian, a love duet. It's an argument about the positives and negatives of love, and it's comprised of lyrics from multiple famous love songs. And it's a delight to hear these excerpts from lyrics recontextualized to create a dialogue in song. I heard him do this on the stage show with Michael Cathcart, Justin Levine, and he sat at a piano and sang the entire duet by himself, and I would have watched a whole show of that. It was fabulous. It's an extravaganza of costumes, it's exuberant and sexy cabaret outfits of silks and lace and feathers and skimpy costumes and plenty of legs showing, and some period costumes that are a bit like My Fair Lady, actually. And Linta Chidzi is a classic triple threat. She's wonderful in this role, and Flanagan has a warm and bright upper register. There's a number of other people in the show that are worth mentioning. James Briers is suitably sultry and supercilious as the Duke of Monmouth. Wonderful voice too. And Simon Burke is a wacky and mischievous and totally ribald owner of the Moulin Rouge. Great cast, terrific show. You don't feel a lot when she obviously, gets ill and dies at the end. We know that's coming. But nonetheless, it's a wild ride and a spectacle. Now, the alternative, completely the opposite, is Cactus by Madelaine Nunn, which is at La Mama. It's on screen running into October, I believe. It's an audacious and episodic play that peers into the secret lives of two teenage girls and unmasks their various obsessions and passions and trials and tribulations and transgressions and their ambitions. It's on the VCE drama syllabus. So there were a lot of kids at the performance that I watched in a streamed version. So I saw the version you will see on screen. Directed deftly by Katie Hawthorne, begins with a graphic monologue by Abby, who's played by Georgia Heath, who's shocked to find her first period has arrived in an alarming and grotesque, vivid flood. It's quite hard listening. What follows is a series of over 20 short chronological scenes with Abby and her bestie, who's called PB, played by Fran Sweeney Nash, in lots of other roles too. They're both very interesting. So it's cameos and various characters from the girls' lives, played by PB. And Madelaine Nunn's well-observed and candid dialogue captures that unexpurgated conversation between these two teenage girls who are facing the end of their school years and an unknown but exciting future. And they share their fantasies about boys and imagine having sex for the first time. And, it's not all it's cracked up to be. They give about teachers and schoolwork, etc. Their behaviour shifts between the childish and the adult, and their conversations are a sort of hodgepodge of naive opinions and misinformation and absurd assumptions and generalisations, often based on social media posts, it seems, and intermittently mature views. So PB trots out snippets of cod psychology and proffers simplistic health remedies for Abby's serious condition, saying, take fish oil. They're joined at the hip, these girls, but when Abby's period pain becomes unbearable, her life changes. She faces a major and ongoing gynecological problem, a really difficult, unnamed condition, we can guess at, that will alter the rest of her life. And Georgia Heath is very credible as Abby and effectively portrays these fantasies and fears and the struggles to accept and negotiate this bumpy path to womanhood. And in contrast, Sweeney Nash's ebullient performance embodies the optimism of a young woman who has yet to confront trauma or pain. And this character fails to understand her friend's sudden distance from her after this diagnosis and treatment, because it's dire. It's an interesting design. It's designed by Madelaine Nunn and Cawthorne, the director. Steps that are covered with artificial turf, and it provides multiple levels and locations for the many scenes and interesting lighting as well. So perfect for school audiences. And that's my lot for this round, these two. It's, as I said, Cactus is online at La Mama on Screen. And we'll talk next time.